pencil ready, so I'm all set. We sure are. Now, if you've ever bought encyclopedias, insurance, magazines, even a cemetery plot from a salesman visiting your home, you've probably experienced and may have been the victim of the hard sell.
Now, there's nothing illegal or immoral about it. It's just a game of psychological warfare. But the salesman knows it's a game, and in most cases, you don't know the rules. So Elizabeth Crenshaw reveals to us how the hard sell really works.
He was a very smooth talker, very personable.
This looks and sounds like a good deal. He looks like an honest person. Why not go ahead and do it?
I felt foolish, yes. But
his whole purpose was to try to get me to sign a contract that day.
I couldn't understand how I could be a victim.
Several years ago, News 4 producer Murray Schweitzer took a job as an in-home salesperson and has been fascinated by the world of the hard sell ever since.
That's right, Liz. You know what the in-home salesperson does is called closing on the final objection. And when it's done right, people are almost helpless to do anything but sign the contract, even if they don't want what's being sold.
So what happens next?
Well, the first thing the salesman does is make an appointment when husband and wife are going to be home. And for our demonstration, that's what I've done. So I probably should get in there because I know they're expecting me.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm Murray Schweitzer with Crenshaw Timeshares Incorporated.
If you've ever answered a postage-paid card for information or said okay to a telephone solicitor, you can expect a hard sell visit. In our demonstration, the Smiths have done what all of us do. They've sat the salesman in their living room, and they're waiting to hear his information. But the hard seller is not ready to sell just yet.
Could I ask a favor? I would love a cup of coffee. Would that be too much of an imposition?
No problem.
That's because once the Smiths have served the salesman, he becomes more like a friend whose goal is to move out of the Smiths' formal living room.
I have a whole lot to tell you tonight, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I need to ask you a favor. Could we move into your dining room? I have a lot of materials in here. I need to spread them out, and I need some room.
Sure.
Yeah, no problem at all. Good.
By getting the Smiths to their dining room,
Mrs. Smith, would you sit in that chair for me right there? And Mr. Smith, would you sit here?
the salesman begins to take more control. Watch how he positions the Smiths very carefully at the table so he can watch both and they can't signal each other without him seeing it. The salesman also uses his pen as a pointer. That's so later on when it's time to sign the contract, it'll be right there and there's no time wasted. For our demonstration, Murray is selling vacations in a timeshare resort. He begins his pitch with a pitch book, and at a key moment in the hard sell, he tells the Smiths he expects a decision tonight. Let's listen.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to explain the program to you fully. I'm going to answer all your questions, and then I'm going to ask you tonight whether you want to join and buy a membership or whether you want to pass the opportunity on to one of your neighbors. Now, does that sound fair to you, Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And does that sound fair to you, Mrs. Smith?
Sure.
Good, okay.
It's important that the salesman gets the Smiths to agree. Then later, they can't use the excuse that they want to think about it for a few days. Few people buy if they think about it. Which brings us to the 3F principle. Using the words feel, felt, and found, the salesman turns around objections. For instance, let's suppose the Smiths are hesitant to decide tonight. The hard seller moves in with a 3F.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I know how you feel. Others felt the same way, too, but you know what they found? They found that decisions made on first impressions were usually the best decisions for them. Don't you feel that way, too?
Yeah, I guess so.
For the most part, sure.
See them agree? He's got them. And the 3F principle will be used again and again to clear objections. Murray also uses this time to collect information to be used later.
What do you spend on an average vacation?
I don't know.
$2,000? I don't know.
I think that's probably about right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The Smiths say they spend a few $1,000s on a vacation. When it comes time to ask for the money, Murray can remind them that his vacation plan is a lot cheaper than theirs. So the hard sell continues along, moving always towards the eventual goal, the close.
Would you then approve that right here, Mr. Smith, you underneath?
And tomorrow we'll show you the next step, that hard sell close, where the salesman gets around your objections and convinces you to sign that contract.
Interesting.